Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. We're going to be pulling back the curtain together on a truly phenomenal piece of engineering. We are looking closely at the MK4 Derrick architecture. Specifically, we're deconstructing what it actually takes to build institutional-grade trading power entirely from the ground up. We are going deep into the autonomous execution layer. You know, the exact thing that separates amateur hour from professional, hardened systems.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll meet the execution engine. Then we'll go over the restaurant analogy. Third, we'll break down Derrick's 5 core components. Fourth, we'll examine its institutional-grade trading power. And finally, number 5, your next steps.
All right, Section 1, meet the execution engine.
So, what exactly is it? MK4 Derrick is the execution layer that takes Cronos' trading signals and executes them safely. Now, I want to emphasize that word, safely. That is the foundational premise of absolutely everything we're going to cover. I mean, let's be real, anyone can write a quick script to ping an exchange API, but doing it dynamically, reliably, and without catastrophic risk, that takes a real execution engine. Derrick is basically the autonomous guardian acting as the critical bridge between a trading signal and market reality. It ensures that whatever Cronos, which is the brain, decides to do is actually survivable and fully optimized in the live market.
Moving on to Section 2, the restaurant analogy.
Before we get into the complex code layers, let's introduce a really relatable mental model. Think of this entire trading architecture like a high-end, perfectly synchronized restaurant. It is truly amazing how flawlessly this maps out, and it brilliantly illustrates how the system operates without any technical fatigue. So Cronos is our chef. The chef alone decides what to cook based on the market recipe. Then we have intake, who acts as the waiter, reading the order directly from the chef. The sizer, that's the manager, looking over the order to check if we have the right ingredients and making sure the portion size is spot on. Then the order manager, or OM, is the cook. They don't design the menu, they just physically make the dish. The exit manager acts as the dishwasher, cleaning up the position when it's all done. And finally, the auditor is our health inspector, constantly checking to make sure the internal books actually match the reality of the exchange. It's a perfect separation of duties. The order manager never, ever decides what to trade. That is strictly the job of Cronos and the exit manager.
Which brings us to Section 3, Derrick's 5 core components. Let's look under the hood of the actual architecture.
Okay, let's move to how this builds. A single trade originates and passes sequentially through a 5-step lifecycle. 5 distinct technical layers: intake, sizer, order manager, exit manager, and finally, the auditor. Let's break each of these down right now to see the institutional logic at play.
Step 1 is intake. Our waiter reads signals straight from the production database, but crucially, it doesn't just blindly pass them along. It acts as a brilliant first line of defense. It filters the market to ensure we're only looking at valid, eligible, highly liquid assets, specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP. Most importantly, it validates the signal structure so malformed data never even has a chance to enter the risk engine.
Step 2 brings us to the sizer, our manager. Now, the sizer's job is purely risk management. It calculates the safe position size for that validated signal, and here is a massive institutional feature for you. It enforces a strict 2.0x leverage cap. So if Cronos accidentally asks for some massive 10x position, the sizer doesn't crash. It automatically steps in, applies the rules, and simply clips that oversized request right down to the safe 2.0x limit. Still on the sizer here, it also enforces a very strict $15 minimum notional size. This is to prevent the system from spamming micro-orders that would just eat up fees. But honestly, the real genius here is the per-asset volatility scaling. The sizer dynamically adjusts based on the asset. For example, because Solana is inherently more volatile, the sizer automatically caps Solana positions at exactly 50% of the size of a Bitcoin position. It's built-in, automated risk parity.
Once that order is perfectly sized and risk-checked, it moves to Step 3, the order manager, or OM. This is our cook. The OM receives that sized order and does all the heavy lifting of physically routing it out to live exchanges like Hyperliquid or Deribit. It's also responsible for meticulous record-keeping, logging every single success or failure for diagnostic review down the line.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is the precision engineering happening right before the order leaves the building. The order manager intelligently applies a plus or minus 1 tick maker pricing offset. This is exactly how the system actually guarantees fee rebates, by ensuring we are providing liquidity, not taking it. Furthermore, it strictly enforces exchange-specific decimal rounding rules. So Bitcoin is rounded to 5 decimals, Solana to 2, XRP to 4. Why does that matter? Well, if you don't do this, exchanges will literally just reject your orders. Derek handles it all flawlessly.
Once the trade is live, control hands over to step 4, the exit manager, our dishwasher. Now this component is relentless. It monitors open positions every second. It uses redundant Python Oracle prices to check against stop losses. If triggered, it fires reduce-only IOC close orders. It handles 24-hour time-based exits to prevent our capital from getting locked up, and it is fully empowered to execute emergency flatten orders if margin levels become critical. It just cleans up the mess safely and efficiently.
Finally, to conclude the pipeline, we have step 5, the auditor, the health inspector. While everything else is running, the auditor sits independently, constantly reconciling the internal database positions against the actual real-world positions on the exchange. If it spots a discrepancy, it flags a warning. And just like the exit manager, if things get wildly out of sync or margin hits critical levels, the auditor acts as the ultimate failsafe, triggering an emergency flatten. Let me tell you, it is incredibly reassuring to have this synchronization check in place.
Okay, let's shift focus to Section 4, institutional-grade trading power. I absolutely love this quote. It really sums it all up. You didn't just run a bot. You engineered, stress-tested, and hardened a professional, institutional-grade autonomous trading system from the ground up. I want to make sure we all understand. This isn't amateur hour. The architecture we just walked through is a proven, battle-hardened powerhouse that is purpose-built to survive the chaos of live crypto markets.
And how exactly do we know it's institutional grade? Because we have the receipts for these specific institutional achievements. This system safely reads from a massive 2 GB production database without a single memory crash. That is huge. It doesn't rely on any single point of failure. It dynamically fetches live macro and price data from highly redundant Python oracles. And when it is time to execute, it cryptographically signs and securely routes those live orders directly to the exchange. Sheer, stress-tested capability.
So the crucial point to take away is this right here, the ultimate failsafe. You see, the true mark of a professional, institutional system isn't just how much money it can make when things go right. It's how beautifully it behaves when things break. This entire architecture is designed to fail close gracefully at every single layer. If data is missing, if a signal is malformed, if an API just drops, Derek stops, protects the capital, and shuts down safely. That fail-close methodology is exactly what guarantees safe autonomous execution. It prevents catastrophic loss before it can even occur.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, your next steps. You've looked under the hood of MK4 Derek today. You've seen the engine. The system is completely built. It has been heavily stress-tested. It is hardened, and it is fully proven in production. So, for the investors and the students joining us today, the only question left to ask yourself is this: are you ready to drive? Thank you all so much for joining me in this chalkboard explainer today. If you are an investor looking to understand more, or an engineer ready to see this autonomous powerhouse in action for yourself, your next step is to reach out directly to the contact email support@ml-nightworks.io. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next explainer.